Entertainment industry, it's about influence. There is a reason why you see people dressed up as Satan, full-on visuals of Satan, people dressed as Satan, dressed as a demon, got upside-down crosses all on their clothes or pentagrams on their clothes. People think that this stuff is just a game. No, there's a reason why the entertainment industry is doing that, y'all. They know good and doggone well that God exists. They also know that Satan exists. They're just counting on the fact that y'all don't know that. But either way, the things that you take in, that they're feeding you, those things affect you. Whether you realize it in the moment or not, they affect you. That's why they do it. I'm not going to sacrifice the honesty in order to be politically correct. I can say whatever I have to say with respect, but I'm going to say it, and I'm going to say it bluntly.
This is the greatest secret ever kept. This reality we live in is not what you think it is. A quick disclaimer, this video will be hard for a lot of people to stomach, but that's part of the process. By all means, if it gets too hard, then scroll. You can always come back to it. First, we'll ask, why are all these buildings around us covered by stories of dirt? All over the world, we see these buildings that are covered by layers of dirt. And at about the same time as these buried structures, we have these massive structures that are built all over the earth, and they have no bathrooms and no kitchens. A lot of times built out of one solid material like marble, something may be hard to even pull off today, and I know you're asking yourself, how did they do this? Well, the ancient Ethiopian Orthodox Church has the secret, and for some reason it's not mainstream. Buildings like I just showed you built into solid rock in the ground, they said were helped build by angels themselves. Angels are believed to help assist in the construction of the rock-out churches in Libya. I know I pronounced that wrong, it's okay. So maybe these buildings are starting to make sense if literal angels help them do this. So on the same timeline with actual physical evidence, how did that same period of that amazing architecture end? Not too long after, it ended with huge, insane asylums everywhere. Some people say the ones who went there because they remembered something amazing. A period in time that nobody seems to remember. And also around that same time period, we had the infant incubators pop up. And at the same exact time of the Cabbage Patch Kids. So where did all these kids come from? With all of these insane postcards? It really makes one wonder, huh? And buildings aren't the only thing. These railroad tracks were here before we got here. Seems like people were traveling at this point in time all the way from Argentina to the North Pole. I wonder what could be up there. Come back to this. So what happened before this whole period of these grand structures? Well, the sun went dark for 18 months. They said much, but in the book History of Wars by Procopius, if I pronounce his name right, a Greek scholar, and he wrote, and it came about during this year, a most dread portent took place, for the sun gave forth its light without brightness, like the moon during this whole year, and it seemed exceedingly like the sun was in an eclipse. Watch this. And from the time when this thing happened, men were free neither from war, nor pestilence, nor any other thing that leadeth to death. So the whole world was in darkness by the sun, and while that was happening, there was pestilence all over the world. I wonder what that could mean. I know, it's very hard to digest all this, but keep going. So in 536 AD that happened? We're gonna pop into Geneva 1570 for hints, but first let's go over here. 536? What's this? Why is this building and this building the same exact building, a picture of the same exact thing, and the dates are up by 1,000 years? Maybe the dating system is wrong. 1732 or J732. 1672 or J672. 1783 or I783. What's an I or a J4? Here's a coin. Jehovah? With the I? The tetragrammaton right here. 1568 or I568. Jehovah again, just like Jehovah, like YHVH. And again, what is this right here? The official royal motto of King Charles IX of Sweden? And on the statue in Latin it reads, Iehovah Saledium Meum? He was a ruler who highlighted God's name in Hebrew or Latin characters on coins and medals. So just like the coins I was showing you, the Iehovah or Iehovah is synonymous with the J? So let's dig a little bit deeper, because the Byzantine Empire, that empire that lasted 1,000 years, had pictures of Jesus on coins. These coins are referred to as anonymous follies because they do not display the name of the portrait of any reigning emperor, emphasizing instead the religious authority of Christ over the empire. These coins were minted in the millions? Is it just me, or is someone not telling us the truth about history? So an I and a J are synonymous with each other in dates, and also like the coins I showed you, synonymous with the name of God. Don't forget, Jesus' name on the cross was in Greek, Latin, and Hebrew, being Yehoshua, Jesus, and Jesus. So back to the dating system being weird, the night the stars fell. Was that really in the 1800s, or was that kind of way back there? Alright, now we're back to the Geneva Bible 1570 for hints. Revelations chapter 13, what do the footnotes say? Why is it talking about Emperor Nero? And literally written right in the footnotes, here's a depiction of the Roman Empire when the beast is coming out the ocean? Meaning Rome because it was the fifth government? And with Rome being like a beast, and in the first century we had Nero Caesar, and the money shows him turn from man to God? But more than just a god, Apollo! Apollyon the Lightbringer. Look at the spines on his head. That grew over time. Did you also know that Nero Caesar literally had a statue made of him? Look at the spines on the head. Okay, why is my man depicted as Lucifer right here? And what's it really mean that the shackles are broken off the feet of Lucifer or Apollo? Fun fact, you know Nero is the one name that equaled both 666 and 616 depending on the language? Both of them. Y'all still with me? We're about to get into the future of where we are now. By the way, this is the UN's decision-making room. Showing right here a beast with a mortal wound by sword, and also some kind of stork that shedded its skin like a snake. And we also have some kind of marriage going on with this dude right here giving a fruit to this girl. Who is the god of this world? Who's controlling this world? I told you guys from the beginning of this video it's going to be a hard one, but if you are open to all information that leads to be true, then maybe you will be able to find out what's going on right now. It's the only way, is to understand what was so you can understand what is now. Back to Revelations 13 in the Geneva Bible. Now, the footnotes were written by John Calvin. Remember though, footnotes are not scripture. They're just people from that era, from that time running what they think. But still, it talks about Satan being loosed from the hole, and it says that Satan will be loosed from his 1,000-year prison when Sylvester the second Pope is on the scene. The reign of Christ is until Pope Sylvester the second Pope. Now it gets pretty weird right here. You ask Google, who's the second Pope? Pope Linus? You gotta dig. When I mean dig, I mean Google straight up took his name out, basically. But I did find him from a book that was in the 1500s, or was it I-500? J500. Sylvester Perios and his Golden Roll. Golden Roll, huh? Born in 1456. This is Pope II. Google calls him Italian theologian. But this ancient book that's in the Vatican's library called the Beehive of Roman Catholicism from the 1500s calls him the Pope. Here's the problem though. All dates, all facts, everything is moved around. We know nothing. All I hope for this video is that we can acknowledge that we really know nothing in the grand scheme, and there's so many hidden things in our past that seem to be very significant. So we have this doomsday map that was brought forth by a necromancer, a divine, or a witch who talked to a demon. I wonder if there's any merit here. Do you remember when Arby's just made this commercial, The Return is Here? Talking about like aliens and stuff. Their dumb potato cakes. Do you remember a few years ago when Nashaw did this randomly? Look where we are right now. Do you remember when the Pentagon came out and said this about 1 year ago? I hope you've read it by now. And then back to the UN's decision-making room mural. With the beast with a mortal wound by sword. And the shedding of the skin. You get what I'm saying? And then we have the Pope, which that same Geneva Bible talks about the Pope also playing a role in Revelations 13. We have him opening all those portals for Christmas in the Jubilee year. The final hour, or the final hour. All I've done in this video is give you information. Let me know what you think and how you're feeling below.
Last year when I posted this video, I got so much hate and so many comments.
Or anybody that has questioned the practices of the pharmaceutical industry, fasten your seatbelt. This one's gonna blow your mind. In ancient Greek religion, and probably the religion of those responsible for creating modern day medicines, this is known as the Greek goddess or witch Hecate, who is known for its practices of witchcraft, sorcery, necromancy, and the mixing of herbs and deadly plants. What really caught my attention was the choice of necklace. Isn't that the same logo that's on every prescription bottle that comes out of the pharmacy? Let's not forget the other symbolisms, especially that serpent, the 2 moons, and the pentagram on its forehead.
But if you actually do the research, which I did before posting this, you will see that the symbology and the people that he speak of is absolutely true.
I don't know about anybody else, but I always thought this to be a strange symbol to use for the pharmacy. This is known as the bowl of Hygeia, or also known as the Greek goddess Hygeia, who was the daughter of Asclepius.
When I first saw this, I'm not going to say I was shocked. I pretty much kind of always had a feeling that there was something really strange. Your thoughts below, I'd love to hear.
Goliath wasn't the only giant in the Bible. There was Og, king of Bashan. His bed was over 13 feet long. There were the Anakim, the Rephaim, and tribes God told Israel to completely destroy. Why? Because their bloodlines were corrupted. These weren't ordinary people. They descended from the Nephilim, part human, part fallen angel. And here's the twist. Some say those bloodlines never died. They just got smarter. Pharaohs claimed to be gods. Emperors claimed divine blood. Even medieval kings talked about the divine right to rule. What if that wasn't just arrogance, but a real inheritance? Are today's elites still protecting a hidden bloodline? One that traces all the way back to the fallen? When you look at ancient texts, secret societies, and royal genealogies, you'll see a pattern. Power runs in the blood, and not all bloodlines are human. Imagine the unseen lines of influence today. From boardrooms to secretive gatherings, the legacy continues. Could it be that these threads of power have woven the very fabric of our society? That the legacies of beings, part human, part divine, still echo in the corridors of power? For those who seek the truth, the line between myth and reality is faint. Our world is built on stories, but what if some of those stories are more real than we imagined? The giants of old may have fallen, but their narratives continue to shape history. And perhaps one day, the shadow of the past will reveal the truth.
A tsunami watch has just been issued for the West Coast United States. If you are currently living in the West Coast United States, I would be awake and ready to evacuate if need be. Even the President of the United States chimed in and made a post about this, saying, due to a massive earthquake that occurred in the Pacific Ocean, a tsunami warning is in effect for all those living in Hawaii. A tsunami watch is also in effect for Alaska, the Pacific coast of the United States, and Japan is also in the way. A tsunami warning has been confirmed for Hawaii. If you're unaware, I would watch the videos that I recently posted, as I posted about Hawaii and the earthquake that caused all of this. This was the 6th largest earthquake ever recorded. So needless to say, this is a massive event, and in the next few weeks, we could possibly see even larger earthquakes around the world, but especially in the Ring of Fire, including the West Coast United States, Japan, Alaska, Central America, and also South America. In my opinion, there is something more to these earthquakes, and they really do seem to be ramping up. I've been warning about this for weeks now, ever since we saw the very strange activity at Yellowstone.
The CEO of Rock Nation is once again in the news. She was also known as a federal informant from back in the day. She was like a drug mule, and she told on her drug boss and got him locked up, and then proceeded to work for Rock Nation after that, which is weird. I feel like she was hired by the CIA or hired by the FBI, one of those alphabet boys, to work in the music industry. Because did you hear that her daughter is now coming out and saying she basically tried to get her hemmed up for a disagreement that her husband had with her, and now she's like trying to get her husband locked up. And
didn't she say that she tried to commit her to like a psychiatric ward?
That's what it was.
Yeah, and I think I saw footage to where there's a doctor who pulls up, and this is on the camera footage of the police, and she says, I don't know that doctor. Who is this? And he's like trying to commit her. He's like, yeah, here's your meds. We got to take you in. She's like, I've never seen you before, which is very common in the industry because they have handlers. This is what happened with Kanye.
Britney Spears.
All these people who have these trainers and these doctors who are really assets to the government, even with Kanye's guy. So he is from Canada, but it turns out that he worked for the Canadian government.
We need to talk about him more, because that dude followed Kanye to Dubai. I was talking to Vori. Vori's a good friend of mine. He writes for Kanye West. He told me, yeah, it was real. This guy was following us.
Yeah.
And that's the guy, the notorious message where he told Kanye, look, if you don't do this, I'm gonna send you back to zombie land and sedate you.
Crazy. That's a crazy bar too.
That's insane, bro.
I send you back to zombie land?
And then playtime with kids won't ever be the same. Like, bro, what?
Yeah, he was talking crazy.
That's some CIA psyop shit.
Right.
Y'all, the Matrix is really breaking down, y'all. I think this red sun has something to do with it, because this lady notices this plane. This is in Northeast Florida. Notice this plane in the air, not moving at all. She pulls out her camera, y'all. I swear, y'all, she is recording for quite a bit of time. Why isn't this plane moving? Why isn't it moving, y'all? Look.
It's literally not moving.
It's not going anywhere, y'all. Look at this. Can somebody please explain to me why this plane isn't moving in the sky? Okay, y'all probably gonna say it's a parallax effect, the parallax effect, but we already know all of our history is a lie and is made up. So what if the parallax effect was something made up? So when we start to see things like this, like we start to call people crazy, or you're making it up, Y'all, the plane is not moving at all. The plane is not moving at all. And this is supposedly a machine that's supposed to move through the air at hundreds of miles an hour. Does that look like hundreds of miles an hour to you, y'all? Yeah, the shift is here. Let me know what you guys think about this video, y'all. Like, follow, and share for more videos like it. Let's continue to get it. Peace.
Appeal to our sins. That's how they make their money. They invest in our sins. They invest in the debauchery. They invest in the distractions. They invest in keeping humans divided by all means. You know what I'm saying? Because if we all turned around and be like, oh, I think we have a common enemy, they'd be like, oh, hold on now. Hold up. What he getting at? Time out. What he getting at? What he talking about? Who is they? No, it's not. I'm just saying. The social media, digital age is based off of investing in your sins.
In the 1950s, the CIA was willing to do this in secret. What else have they hidden? Next up, how the FBI declared war on black civil rights leaders under COINTELPRO. Follow now so you don't miss it.
Yeah, so much of like the music industry, the movie industry, politics, all that kind of stuff, it's all satanic type stuff. And some people may be saying, Jeff, you're crazy, you know, there's no proof any of this stuff's real or anything like that. Well, even if you listen to like people who talk to people at CERN, they'll tell you what CERN's there to do.
This collider and these beings that they're in communication with. So we're talking about the premier scientists on planet Earth right now who are actively engaged, according to their own words, communicating with something with a personality, in their own words, from another dimension. And that's the purpose of the collider. I mean, people need to understand, this is not science fiction, this is fact.
That's correct. What I write about in my novels,
right,
I place a storyline that is embedded with science fact. Everything that I present publicly in the books, public speaking, is all drawn from their own scientific journals and white papers. And then I'm able to see what they're doing. Not just extrapolate, but see in the real time what it is they're doing. Not a future agenda, but what they're doing right now today. The imminency of what they intend to do, which is opening this gateway. And understand that the world of science in terms of particle physics also overlaps into DNA, into biology.
Yes.
There's a multifaceted, multi-level agenda at play, not just with CERN, but it's proof of concept feeder labs around the world that feed into CERN.
Yeah, this is getting crazy. They're opening up portals, there's demons coming in, like absolute insanity.
This is the Bar Caves in India, built between 300 and 185 BC. And they say it was built with hammer and chisel, no power tools. But look at that. Look at the walls. Look at the ceiling. How sharp the joins are like that. How did they do this with no lasers? This is laser technology right here. And look at this wall. Look how shiny this wall is. And this is original. This is not after the fact added shine. This is granite. So, for the Matrix believers, how could they do this? And look at the floor. That floor is super smooth. You could play billiards. You could shoot pool on that floor. 8-ball corner pocket type. And look at that doorway. 90-degree angles. This looks like some modern stuff, man. 300 BC. Look at that. You're playing pool on that floor. Are you guys certain? For the Matrix believers, y'all keep saying the same thing in my videos. The story on Wikipedia compared to the final product don't match. You see what I'm saying? Look how shiny. Like, they tell you hand chisel by hand, but the final product says machine work. It says lasers. Look at how curved the ceiling is here. There's 4 different caves in this whole area. Okay, and they all look like this. They all look like they were look how shiny. They all look like they were machine cut. Lasers. These caves were carved with ancient technology. I'm not sure what you're going to be able to say to convince me otherwise, because most of you guys say the same thing. The Matrix believers, you say, oh, they didn't have TikTok back then, or they had a lot of time. Oh, a lot of slave manpower. That's what you call an NPC villager response. When you're playing an RPG game and you're trying to figure out how to get past a blocked path, and you ask a villager and they're like, oh, the answer you seek is along the path. I need to know how to get on the path to get past the blockage. The answer you seek is on the path. Like, bro, y'all keep saying the same thing. It's time to set aside the Matrix and realize that they lied to us about this stuff. They're hiding information about history. They're hiding information about ancient technology. They're hiding information about the millennial reign of Christ, which already happened. They're hiding information about the food, all kinds of stuff. The people who understand that we've been lied to, send this video to a Matrix believer. Send this to someone who's really confident in the mainstream information and see what they have to say about this.
Video from rural India. A large bonfire lit for a traditional event. And then, a man who herds goats begins to walk his flock around the fire. Once, twice, thrice. And then, he steps away. But the goats keep going. Round and round they go. No leader, no destination. Just movement for the sake of movement. Blindly following the one ahead. And suddenly, it's not just a circle. It's a cycle. A vicious, self-perpetuating loop. It reminded me of what we often see around us. In religion, in politics, in society. So many follow without question, without clarity, without understanding the true intent of the one they're following. Not because they believe, but because they're conditioned. Because stepping out of the circle takes courage. The fire in the middle may be real or imagined, but the fear, the motion, the blind, it's all too real. Ask yourself, are you thinking or are you following? Are you chasing purpose or are you circling the flame?
What's really going on out there in New Mexico, y'all? What is happening? For the third time in less than 1 month, Ruidoso, New Mexico just got hit with a flash flood out of nowhere. Let me show you guys where things started to get really bad. This kid is going out there, right? Now there's a canal right up here, right there, y'all. Y'all see that, right? It started off as a little blessing, just a little bit of rain, y'all. Now check this out. All right, so now this is what the canal looks like now, y'all. Y'all see that? It's starting to break apart. Look at that. Look at this. Y'all see that now? Y'all notice something? Where's the rain? Where is the rain? Where's this water coming from? Y'all, it gets even crazier. Check this out. There's about to be another push. Watch it. Where's this water coming from? There's about to be another push. You can hear it.
Holy moly!
There is no rain. Here is another video to show you the beginning of the flood. And now 3 minutes in, this. And again, y'all, there is no rain. Where is the rain? Where's the wind? Check out what happens to this jewelry store in real time, y'all. There is so much influx of water that everything just pops up to the top. This is crazy, y'all. I've never seen anything like this. Look how much water is coming, y'all. How is this possible? I'm telling y'all, man, this water is coming from under the ground. All this ice is melting. Look at that, y'all. Hold on, there's about to be another. Look, y'all see that? That's crazy. How much in water is still coming in? If you're wondering, did any houses get lost this time? Yes, just like the last one, y'all. I don't know how these houses just keep getting taken down. This is crazy. There's a great change happening within our planet right now, and the big people who are supposed to be in charge. If you're wondering what this is, this is hell that fell from the sky, y'all. This is hell, y'all. Y'all see those big chunks of ice? That's hell. That's crazy. Something major is happening, man. What do you guys think about this video, man? Please like, follow, and share for more videos like this. The shift is here. Y'all see it. Let's continue to get it. Peace in.
Have you guys heard of the Labubu toys?
Yes, I have.
The viral Labubu doll.
They look like that thing from Star Wars.
They're called mischievous forest elf, and they live in the land of the monsters.
Got it.
Some people are making the connection that Labubu, and the way it looks and sounds just like this king of the demons from the Babylonian era called Pazuzu. It's basically this whole play on Pazuzu, who's the king of the demons, and then you have Labubu, who has a lot of features that look like Pazuzu.
Have you seen the Simpsons connection?
Yeah, basically he ordered it on like Amazon or something, came in as Pazuzu,
Thought it was pizza.
gave it to the baby as like a toy.
You be here in the dark with Pazuzu.
The baby was demon possessed.
That's a weird connection.
I am Pazuzu.
Yeah, this was like
That's-
7 years ago too that this came out.
And that looks just like a happy little pack animal. It looks like it would just be in like a little tree village. You know what toys are going to be in my house one day is army men and Lincoln logs. That's it.
And an iPad.
Yeah.
The amount of people who knew when they heard Selma and Angelina Jolie were going back to Veracruz that was the witches' capital amazed me. I had no clue at all. The amount of people who said hide your kids, the locals who put videos out and said hide your kids. Wow. Single-handedly, this is by far one of the moments in history that the most people woke up to the red juice. So many people in comments about Salma Hayek and Angelina going to Mexico to Veracruz. What's the red juice? Getting educated on the red juice. That's a good thing. Thank you, Salma Hayek, for that. And then lastly, the amount of people who are saying, let's wait 6 to 8 weeks and see what they look like. And see if all of a sudden they come out and they have new faces and they look like they're 20 years old again. That was crazy too. A lot of you guys are awake, and I'm here for it. And I'm glad you guys enjoyed the post. But yeah, there was some eye-opening information in the comment section of that video and videos like it. But it shows that people are well aware of what Hollywood's up to and what these women are up to.
Let's talk about Sophia. Not just a name, but the embodiment of divine wisdom itself. Sophia means wisdom in Greek, but her roots stretch deeper into the ancient waters of creation, into the heart of the Great Mother. Sophia is the voice of divine intelligence, the sacred knowledge that births all things. She is the breath before creation, the whisper of spirit into matter, the guide who helps us remember who we are beneath the illusion. She is not separate from Source. She is the wisdom of Source made manifest. She is the soul of the world, what the ancients call the anima mundi. Sophia appears in many traditions. In agnostic texts, she is the one who fell from the heavens, giving birth to both chaos and the spark of awakening within us all. Her fall is not shame. It is the descent into matter, the sacred journey through darkness to reclaim the light. Sophia teaches us that wisdom is born through experience, through mistakes, through heartbreak, through rising again with deeper compassion. She is not cold intellect. She is heart-centering knowing, the wisdom of the womb, the sacred spiral of creation and return. When you hear the call of Sophia, you are being invited to remember your divine origins, to trust the process of descent and rise, to reclaim your voice, your knowing, your sacred place within the great unfolding. This is Sophia, the eternal mother of wisdom, the light in the darkness, and the knowing that can never be stolen.
You know, I've got a question, and I yes, it is a problem. But you see, I've always wondered, how did you Jews ever get control of the i.e. Christian churches in this country. It's always baffled me to a varying degree, Rabbi Finkelstein. You have your synagogue out there in New York on the East Coast, but I'm wondering, how did you ever totally get control of these Christian churches who at one time told their congregations to stay away from you Jews? How did that happen?
Well, our father Lucifer, the number one thing of all the organizations out there on the earth that we would want to infiltrate and take over of Goyim, obviously would be the churches. So we attacked them first, and we attacked them most. And we infiltrated the Catholic Church right from the very beginning. Why do you think the Pope and all the cardinals and the bishops wear a yarmulke? The white race never figures this out. And so then we took all your books that had all your scriptures in there, and we burned them. And then we wrote them in Latin so that you couldn't understand them. But we understood Latin because we're Jews and we're smart and we're educated. But you, Goyim out there, you never teach yourself. You don't self-teach.
We are not out of water.
They drained fuel. They added something to the coolant lines. They played with electronics. And that's not typical vandal stuff.
Less than a week after bringing free water to Flint, Moses West says the green machine he designed to do just that was vandalized.
Once they broke into the machine and destroyed the generator, very technical, they knew what they were doing. It wasn't just random vandalism, not at all. They put metal in the fuel system.
West is a military veteran who travels across the country to areas in crisis, bringing a machine he designed like this one that literally makes fresh water out of thin air. He put the green machine out for people along Saginaw Street on Thursday and was hoping to make a big impact. He says before the vandalism, they were giving hundreds of people free water every day.
You got to look at, I'm making anywhere from 1,200 to 2,000 gallons of water a day. You're giving away for free. That's a lot of money out of somebody's pocket someplace.
Who owns Kai Cenat? What actually got him so many connections at 23? Same company that manages Mr. Beast, Hassan Piker, Costco guys, and Drewski. Night Media's president, Ezra Cooper Stein. Their biggest investor, Peter Chernin. Kai is also managed, partially owned by United Talent Agency. Their founders are Jeremy Zimmer, Jim Burkus, Peter Benedict. Guess what every single person I mentioned has in common? Why do you think Kai...
Fast forward a couple years and there's a 30-year-old man with red hair who's flossing on Jimmy Fallon. Normal people are like, why is there a 30-year-old man with red hair flossing on Jimmy Fallon? And suddenly out of nowhere, this Jewish kid pops up and changes streaming forever. He's playing 2K and LeBron James calls him up. The biggest rappers are pulling up to freestyle. This kid is making more money than the celebrities coming on his stream. He's bringing on cute girls to flirt. He's joking late night with his friends. He's doing what regular people do. Suddenly, Twitch isn't autistic and gender fluid anymore. Suddenly, Twitch is mainstream. Then naturally, this kid starts maturing and learning about the world. How politics and fake morality extend far beyond just the government. How the entertainment industry is held together by fake friendships. To make it on Twitch,
What's that? Oh, people are finding out that a lot of the water that are flooding areas isn't just from rain? What? Tell me more. Yeah, people are finding out that the floods that are happening around the world aren't just happening from the rain. And more specifically, the water itself is coming up from the ground. It's not even really from the rain, they're finding out. And they're recording, such as a woman in Michigan just recorded water coming up from the ground and flooding her area. Oh, goody. Something eerie is going on, so people have decided to do their own investigating. And luckily, some people are finding out that a lot of this water and flooding in areas isn't from rain. No, it's coming up from the ground. And they have video proof of this. I love it. Let's be careful out there with this water rising from the ground out of nowhere. Okay then.
The story of Julian Brown and his plastiline actually goes a lot deeper than most people are even grasping. Do we actually know what happened to Julian Brown, the inventor of gasoline from plastic? Really quickly before we go down the rabbit hole, on July 9th he made a video insinuating that something may happen to him for people to watch. And you may already know this part, but just hold on for the people that don't. And July 9th is the last time anybody has heard anything from him. By the way, it was not just gasoline, he was coming for the whole industry. And doing a very good job of it. Trust me, we're about to get into the insane part. And if you're watching this on TikTok, it's probably going to disappear. Last part before we get into it.
Alright, listen everybody. I can't go into too much detail, but there is some very, very odd stuff going on. I'm certainly under attack to know, to just kind of have your eyes open, and I have my eyes open. Be on the lookout because I'm under attack. I know that I'm not going to live long.
Now, completely unrelated 1,000,000,000%, this is Stanley Mayer. Have you heard of him? Allegedly, it was said he had built a car that could run off of water and called it a water cell. I'm telling you, this gets wild. He had created a patent that was approved in 1984, as well as other patents. Let me tell you how this gets really weird. In 1996, a judgment was made against Stanley saying that his patent in his water car was fraudulent. But get this part. Do you know that 2 years after the fraudulent court claim, he was actually about to sell the car? March 20th, 1998, he was meeting with two Belgian investors at a Cracker Barrel. Cracker Barrel was the location they chose to meet about selling his water cell car. But then, his brother, being an eyewitness at the Cracker Barrel, saw him run out of the Cracker Barrel and say that he had been poisoned. And on that day, 2 years after the fraudulent court claim, after he was about to sell the car, he passed away. And everything I just told you and showed you is completely unrelated from this. So now we have Julian from Jamaroma, who creates not just gas, not just diesel, but also other things like sunscreen from natural stuff. The difference here is, it's not 1998 no more. So instead of tens of thousands of eyes being on someone by only the TV and what the TV decides to play, we have this guy who completely solved the plastic crisis. Have you seen the pile of trash and plastic in the middle of the ocean that can be seen from space? Tens of millions, maybe hundreds of millions of eyes on this one person right now who made a video saying that something was coming after him. And to pay attention and just be aware. I know both the stories I shared with you in this video are completely unrelated. Much like Tesla, his inventions, and all the raiding that happened. And completely unrelated from the hundreds and thousands in the past of people who invented amazing things. So where is Julian Brown? Listen.
I know that I'm not going to live long. And that's why I put every day, every hour, every minute into building, being falsely accused and reported to the EPA and the Why am I out here despite weird black helicopters that turn off their radar transponder circling me 6 times at night?
I still think it's weird that, you know, the Gates family or Bill Gates owns a lot of the, you know, land in North Dakota. I think that's weird. He owns majority of the water in the United States. I think that's weird. Whatever. That, you know, weird. This to each his own. This is for informational purpose only. But at the same time, it's just like when you go to the grocery store and you see certain products that are on there that, you know, they spray with a bunch of shit.
Not bad. Prince William and Kate Middleton had their first child. When she brought the baby out to be presented to the public, she was wearing the exact same dress Mia Farrow was in the movie, Rosemary's Baby. It was very strange. First portrait, Will and Kate Middleton. And she was wearing the vampire's wife's dress. The vampire's wife's dress. That's what she wore. You have now King Charles, who says he's related. He's a blood relative to Vlad the Impaler. He's literally related to Dracula.
So why isn't anybody talking about the fact that today in Dallas, Texas, the FBI and police arrested 244 people in a child trafficking ring? You heard what I just said? In Dallas, Texas, they arrested 244 people that were child predators. And the best part about this whole thing is that they found 109 missing children. So apparently this trafficking ring has been going on for a very, very long time. But
if you think the mafia didn't know the CIA was flying in product during the crack era, wake up. The streets talk, but the mob listened. When the CIA started moving coke into the US to fund their wars, the mafia didn't snitch. They leveraged it. They had ears on docks, eyes on airstrips, and friends in low places with high-level info. So when the feds came knocking, some bosses didn't run. They whispered, "You really want to take me down? We know what your agency's doing in Miami. We know who's flying into MENA. And we know which federal task force is looking the other way." That's how some indictments disappeared. That's how certain guys walked, while others got the RICO hammer dropped. The mob didn't beat the government in court. They beat them in blackmail. It wasn't just about drugs. It was about secrets. And the feds had plenty to hide. Follow Mob V's Fed. If you know real power ain't loud, it's knowing where the bodies are buried and who buried them.
So you guys may not be aware of the events that have been currently unfolding in Pakistan, so let me show y'all. First of all, they have been dealing with extensive flooding the past couple of days. Here is an aerial view of this catastrophe that took place in Pakistan, and you guys can see this water's coming from somewhere. Look at this. Apparently there was a whole bunch of cattle and some goats and some chickens that got washed away in the flood. People were standing on top of the homes. It seems that water was flowing down from every corner in this little village, y'all. Look at this coming down the stairs, and y'all, it's not even raining. This is now crazy. Check this out. I feel like this has been the theme this year, right? It starts off as a little bit, right? And then whoosh, just the gates have been opened. You can't even tell that there's a little bridge over in there that lets the water through. Look at this car trying to come through. That's crazy, bro. Look how powerful this water is, y'all. Now, not only did Pakistan experience some crazy flash flooding, but this mud flood came out of nowhere. So at first it started out like this, y'all. It's black. Y'all see this? It's like new earth. It's like new earth loading. Look at that new soil coming in. Now check this out. And then it started to look like some type of mud, y'all. Look at this. It was going through the whole town. This thing ain't stopping for nobody. That's like, look at this, y'all. It eventually made its way into the village, and it was just swallowing everything that was in sight. This reminds me of TD Jakes right here, man. This is literally what they're talking about. Wow. Just like they said, man, we are in these times again. We are in the times of Noah. Remember, Noah deals with weather, and this is exactly new weather, the new phenomenon that's happening with the planet. Well, old, new. But this is crazy. It's literally going to swallow up everything, y'all. But this is exactly what Pakistan has been dealing with. But yeah, did y'all know about this, y'all? Pakistan is going, like the whole planet, man. But the shift is here. I've been telling y'all, man. Let me know what you guys think about this video. Like, follow, and share for more videos like this. Let's continue to get it. Peace in.
Listen to this alarming post from the El Salvadorian president. He quoted and said, "We are birthing superintelligence. We are creating the mind of God, infinite, destined to solve every problem we've ever faced and usher in an age without death." The last time someone said something similar to this was Nimrod, and this right here is a depiction of the Tower of Babel. And back in the day, they had the same amount of pride. They were like, hey, let's make a name for ourselves. Let's build a tower all the way up to the heavens. And this was our act of defiance against the Creator. And we're doing it again. We're doing it again. And look, superintelligence, AI. AI is intelligent, right? It's learning from us. It's learning from us through the phone. It listens to our conversations. Every chat entry, they're learning. Trying to create the mind of God, designed to solve every problem. And an age without death, like uploading your mind into the singularity, into Neuralink and all that stuff. Like, next year will be 250 years since the United States has been a country. And I think something might shift after next year. It's also 250 years since Satan was released from the abyss, right? So the Statue of Liberty is a statue of Satan. I made a video about that. Go check it out. So this golden age that Trump is talking about, and now the El Salvadorian president and all kinds of world leaders are all globalists, are all on the same plan. They're scurrying around because they know the little season of Satan is about to end, and they're trying to hurry up and get everyone on one accord, one banner. And this is a part of it. This is some end time stuff. This is some Satan little season wrapping up type talk right here. Okay. And this is not a good thing. Christ is Lord. Christ already reigned on the earth. for 1,000 years. It already happened. And Gog and Magog is the next event. I keep saying that in all the videos because it's the most important thing. Christ is the most important topic. There's no mistake he picked the Tower of Babel as a depiction for this post. This is an act of defiance against God, against Christ. And they will not be successful.
This is the first time that 30-year-olds are worse off than their parents were when they were 30. First time in American history.
I hadn't thought of it that way, but that is absolutely true across every economic benchmark.
Thank you to my channel members. We said thank you. Ha! To my channel members. No Diddy when I say member. Thank you to my channel members. Fuck you if you're not a member. Nah, I'm just kidding. But seriously, join. Thank you.